Hey guys, it is that guy 10,000, and today I'm going to be playing this game called Division Normandy 44. It is a World War II real-time strategy game, and yeah, let's just get right into it. It was released, I think, yesterday or the day before that, and yeah, I got the deluxe edition and it's playing the open beta. So yeah, I've been playing for about a month, I think, yeah, now. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So yeah, actually the menu is quite nice, actually. So the way this game works is you jump right into this and you make your battle group, and the battle group is what units you'll have when you're fighting in combat, and you make your battle group and then you use them in combat, and you get phase A, B, and C. So yeah, let's just create one. Let's make it Blitz. Actually, no, we'll just call it. Yeah, why not? Okay, so yeah, as you can see, you have all of these generals, or I think generals. Yeah, probably generals. So yeah, you can sort of pick them and select them, and then yeah. So you can select them and you get a certain deck. As you can see, you can see this. This is an airborne division, this is an armored division, this is an infantry division. Here the Germans, but you get mechanized divisions, and basically that's what they specialize in. So the way the game works is you start off in phase A and you get very light vehicles, generally pretty bad infantry, not too good artillery. I think if you start off with the German, where is it? Yeah, here, the Volkskamjäger, 3rd Volkskamjägers, then I think their Air Force is actually pretty good at phase A. They get a bunch of Bf-109s, a lot. And then you get the Panzerlehr, who start off with, well, they actually don't start off with any tanks in phase A. They just go straight to Tiger tanks in phase B, which is extremely overpowered. Okay, it's actually not, because they don't get anything at phase A. Phase B is very good though. Phase C, they don't have a whole lot, but they do earn a lot of money. So yeah, as you can see, this is phase A, combat recon, phase B, skirmish, and phase C, battle. This is the income that that battle group receives in that phase. So yeah, and that generally decides what this battle group specializes in. For example, the French battle group here, yeah, it specializes in, yeah, generally, as you can see, light tanks and armored cars, so very good at recon, combat recon, but they don't get a whole lot of money in the C phase, which means they tend to lag behind a little bit, especially when they're fighting against something like this. There are two modes so far: total destruction and well, no, not total destruction, I think it's just called destruction, and conquest mode. Conquest mode works, it's interesting because it works by how much territory you own. So if I own 60% of the map, I gain 1 point, I think, per second, and if you own something like 75% of the map, you earn 2 points per second, and 90% of the map, I think, like something like ridiculous, like 5 points per second. And basically it ends with the side that has more points after about like half an hour, you know, depending on the timer you set. So so I'm just gonna sort of show you. Yeah, obviously the Axis is probably my favorite sort of side. So yeah, let's just make a battle group and get right into a battle. So let's see here. I would highly recommend the mechanized divisions or the infantry divisions for, you know, people who are starting off, because as attractive as it may seem, tanks are, yeah, sure, they are awesome, but they are pretty difficult to use. I'll just show you what they get. As you can see, in phase A they have no tanks. Sure, they get the Koenig's Tiger, the King Tiger with the long 88. Oh god, but they have nothing in phase A, and not a whole lot of infantry actually. 4 squads of, you know, infantry leaders, yeah, Panzergrenadier Führers, or Panzergrenadier leaders. They get decent reconnaissance, but a lot of it's armored, and armored reconnaissance is not as good as it sounds, because I don't think these can actually drive into forests, and that's like the main advantage that these guys here, these two guys with SMGs have. They can just run into a forest and hide. Tanks can't do that, and I don't think Pumas can either, or whatever this is. So yeah, that leaves them at a severe disadvantage. That, and their stealth is bad. These guys have a very good stealth, which means they can actually hide. Say oh, out of nowhere a Tiger tank appears, the Puma will just explode. It can't do anything. Whereas, you know, these guys can just run off into a forest and hide. Or this Jeep thing, the Kubelwagen, can just sort of drive off because it can outrun it. The Puma can't. And also, I don't think, their AA isn't exactly great, but as you can see, they don't have a lot of, they have mobile AA, but it's not a lot in firepower. Air Force, they have really just nothing. Anti-tank, they get a lot in Phase B and C, but as you can see, all they get is really just Panzerschrecks, which aren't great. Actually, that's pretty interesting. What is that? 37mm AT gun attached to a half-track. But yeah, they don't get a whole lot. 5cm gun, you're going to be going up against Shermans from quite some distance away, and even Churchills maybe in Phase A, and those things have level 15 armor. The Churchill actually I think has level 21 armor, which is not going to be easy to destroy, which really leaves these guys very easy to just completely curb stomp in Phase A. But in Phase B, oh, look at this. Just, they get what, like, what is that, 6? Let's see. Yeah, 6, and then 9 Tiger tanks in Phase B, and a King Tiger in Phase B. And this is the Henschel turn as well. Thing is, though, tanks aren't generally as good as they seem. They sound great, but they really aren't. Because it's not exactly easy to just drive a tank around and shoot stuff. It's not as straightforward as that. So I'd recommend for beginners using either the Pegasus division, which is actually very good. It's fairly well balanced. Or if you want to go for the Allied approach, Spearhead isn't bad, the 3rd Armored. The Black Division is pretty tough to, actually do. They have good stuff generally in Phase B and C, but yeah, I think for the Allies, generally Indian Head or 2nd Infantry, they are pretty good for the Allies early on. They have decent artillery. Yeah, they have the Xylophone rocket launcher artillery, which is a bit underwhelming. It's not amazing. The Screaming Eagles, they are actually pretty good. The Red Devils, though, are really good. But yeah, they mainly focus in the Phase B skirmish. Today I'm just going to be going on with the Axis battle groups. So generally what you want is some guys who can hide in forests and buildings and stuff like that. So I think a couple of these guys, actually maybe not that many. Also, you generally want some infantry or reconnaissance who can fight back, because you're going to be fighting up against, well, yeah, grenadiers who have MG42s, well, 34s, but you still want to be able to fight back. You don't want to just give up and die like these guys. And this does have decent anti-tank capabilities, which means this is actually pretty good for ambushing as well then, which is great, because these guys have good stealth. Not too bad at all. Armored reconnaissance is always good, especially in A phase. It just makes life a lot easier, because you can just it goes at the same speed as something like this, or at least similar speeds. Maybe not quite the 100 kilometers per hour. That would be ridiculous, seeing something like this going at 100 kilometers per hour. But it is good for Phase A, because you can fight back, and it has some armor. Sure, it's not going to be enough to completely stop something like this, an anti-tank weapon, but at least these guys have to come in within they have to come in into 100 meters range, and I wouldn't keep this within 100 meters of infantry, if I were you. There's actually one thing I have to say. How would these guys just throw a grenade 100 meters? Doesn't that seem a little bit ridiculous to you guys now? Just some guy standing in the middle of the field and there's a tank about 100 meters away. He throws a grenade and it lands directly on the tank's turret and blows it up. 100 meters away. That is quite some distance. 100 meters. That's about... Okay, maybe that's like 200 meters. About, yes, from here to there, where my cursor is, that little tree and where the fence sort of ends. I'm guessing that would be around about 100 meters. I don't know. I'm not good with distance, but yeah, could you imagine that? Just throwing a grenade at it and just flying it all the way, just all the way up there. That'd be ridiculous. So yeah, reconnaissance is generally phase A stuff, because you're gonna have storks later on in the game, and storks are really good. But yeah, I generally don't really worry about late game combat reconnaissance, because I mean, it's not like these guys get a whole lot apart from whatever the hell this thing is. Oh god, what is that? I mean, this is decent, but what is that? That is just horrible. So yeah, this is the vehicle stats and stuff if you haven't noticed already, in case if you're, you know, blind. So yeah, I guess we could have two of these late game, just in case, you know. Early game, it's always good to have MGs, you know, MG positions, because these things can fire up to 800 meters away. That is really good. And the fact that it has 5,000 rounds and 9 high explosive value, which is enough to just cut up an entire infantry squad in a couple of seconds, honestly, is really good. You want these early game. These guys, they have a leader sort of bonus or whatever it is, and basically the stars here are their experience. Basically 1 star means it just improves their overall stats. What this leader ability does, it's a passive ability, it basically gives all of the, you know, all of the units around them in about, I think, 100 meters radius, 1 star, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. But if you have like 2 or 3 squads of infantry, yeah, it's quite a bit. So yeah, generally these guys are good. I mean, there is these guys, and they are just absolutely awful. They are basically all conscripts, disheartened, yeah. So 25% extra suppression damage, but they do only cost 10 requisition points, right? Yeah, RQ. Sorry, RP. I'm not RQ, Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's a lot, and they're fairly cheap, but they don't have a lot. As you can see, they only have 9 guys, 1 with an SMG, and 8 of them with rifles, which which if you think about it, just 8 guys walking around with what is that? Bolt action? Yeah, bolt action rifles, carabiner, 98 curs. It's not that good. These guys at least have 1 guy with an MG34, so yeah, it's kind of you kind of have to have it. Also, these guys, I mean, they do get the KFZ, which isn't too bad, but they aren't a whole lot different to these guys, and they only cost a little bit more. I think I'll take them as well. Do I have them already? No. Strange. Alright, later on in the game, Phase B. Phase C, I don't think, yeah, I have Sturm Pioneers with flamethrowers, but honestly the only time you'd ever use flamethrowers is if you're in a city, or if you're doing an ambush. But yeah, if you are doing that, it is really good. Let's see here. It would be interesting to see cheaper infantry perhaps without motorized transports, just to have them walk there to the battlefield. Can you imagine that? Just a group of guys just walk into the battlefield without a truck or anything. You just have to walk like 5 kilometers into the battlefield. That would suck. And then just walk there and then realize, oh shit, I'm in the middle of a battlefield, and just get shot in the head and fall over and die. Well, that got dark really quick. So, actually, I just realized these rifles have a range of what, like 300 meters. So these guys wouldn't actually be too bad. About 114 rounds per minute, and with level 7 accuracy. Level 10 is most accurate, by the way. That basically means it'll never miss. Oh wow, level 9. Then again, that is stationary, and I'm guessing you'd have some time to aim if you're about 100 meters away. So that's what, like, on this, yeah, about from here. Actually, that's about like 50 meters. I don't know. What the hell is this? Is this a barracks? Is this just... yeah, this is a barracks. Weird. Sorry for the really low frame rate, by the way. This game is actually very, what's that word? Fucking painful to run. But yeah, it doesn't seem that tough to run, but it is. Believe me, it is. This is like, what? Like, I think... mid settings, I think? Or high? God, it's tough to run. Anyway, it's not an easy game to run, by the way. I'm not exaggerating this, but it is like fucking insanely difficult to run this. Yeah, we're gonna have 5 more MGs. These guys are really good, by the way. MGs, 800 meter range. That means they can outrange basically all of these guys, and have the same, actually 3.5 times the rate of fire of all these rifles. It's pretty good. So, let's see, what could we put here? Pioneers, Grenadiers, I think would be a pretty good idea, because, you know, Panzerfausts, generally pretty good things. I do think it's a little bit underpowered, the Panzerfausts. Only 3 penetration. That's its value. 3. That's it. That's its armor piercing value. It's not a whole lot. Oh wow, so at point blank range it'll have 4.5 armor piercing value. So okay, we have 2 more infantry slots. Also, I should have probably mentioned, depending on the battle group you pick, that's the slots you unlock. So if I picked like a paratrooper, you know, battle group, I would have more air and more infantry. Actually, I think this is probably the most infantry you can get. If I picked an armored battle group, I'd have gotten a lot more tanks. Actually, speaking of air, I should probably... God, this is the one nightmare. The one problem I always face. The one question which I always find myself asking. Should I have more bombs, which are small, or less bombs, which are, you know, bigger? So more smaller bombs, or less bigger bombs? Like a 250 kilogram bomb, or 450 kilograms? Because if you drop a 250 kilogram bomb, there's a lot you can hit, and there's a lot of armor that you can possibly penetrate. That means you could probably kill an M5 Stuart if you got a direct hit on it. With these things you can't, but at least it's a bit like cluster bombs. Even if you don't hit them directly, there's 4 of them, and their AoE is 40 meters, which means this is great against infantry. This is a 65 meter AoE. So, is it better? And this is just the answer to all of my problems. Just this thing. A 75mm high velocity anti-tank cannon strapped on to a 2-engined attacker. It is an amazing aircraft. It is really good, by the way. It is annoying how it is in C phase though, but I guess just you can't have all the best stuff early on in the game. There is this as well, but this isn't B phase, and you know, it is just 37 mils. I mean, it's not bad though. 24 rounds. 13 rounds, 75 mil gun, 60 rounds per minute? Jesus. That's pretty good. I think I'll take this, and I think I'll probably take a bomber, honestly. 2 500-kilogram bombs. That's really good. That's like 4 ME-109s worth of explosives. Well, that is a really nice paint job, actually. Generally, I don't think camouflages are symmetrical, though. I don't think you get symmetrical camouflages. Artillery. I hate using mortars. And why is that pink? Why would you have a pink mortar? Anyway, yeah, so generally I don't like using mortars. It's just a pain. Because they have to fly all the way up. For something, to hit anything at 1600 meters, I mean, you're going to have quite an angle. And if you want to hit something fairly close, or even mid-range, it's not going to be easy to hit it. Especially if you're shooting over a building, because it's going to take about 10 seconds for the shell to land there. So it's not great, in my opinion. Artillery, these things, whatever it's called, what is this? Artillery observer. So useful. It is amazing. Basically, these guys can call in artillery strikes. It's so useful. Say there's a swarm of infantry and tanks approaching your position. What do? You call in an artillery strike on your position. And then you retreat. They come to your position that you were in. And then it just shells them shitless and they all die. It's great. It's great. Works every time. So I think I'm going to take that. How many shells? The annoying thing is you can only have three barrages, because this is how much ammunition it has, 45. And every barrage, or, you know, sort of shelling thing, I don't really know what it's called, it only fires 15 shells, which means it's not great. That means 15 210mm howitzers, it's good, definitely. I'm not saying it's bad, but, I mean, I was hoping for infinite ammo, because these guys are at the very back. They're off-map units. That means you don't have to worry about supplies, because I'm guessing you'd probably be next to a bloody factory. But yeah, it is a bit annoying how you have limited ammo, and you don't have a whole lot of shells per barrage. So, again, it's also lacking there. Oh boy. 4 oh my god, why? 4 Stug 3 Gs at phase C. There are battle groups which get Tiger tanks, 4 King Tigers by phase C. This gets 3 Stugs. Oh god, that's so bad. But, I mean, at least they get a lot of tanks in phase A. 12, although totally shit tanks, at least there's a lot of them, and they are infantry fighting vehicles. That means MGs. Oh shit. Oh, I just realized something. They don't actually fire high explosive shells separately. They fire one round armor piercing high explosive. That means, oh god. That's so bad. But at least these things are good for suppressing fire, because that means if you fire at a tank with about 4 of these, because if you fire at a tank with an armor piercing shell, wait, why are these, wait a minute, no, I think this, yeah, I think they're separate, but I don't know actually. Because they're supposed to fire separately, because I mean, if you see for this, you get 2 separate things, smoke shells and high explosive. I don't know, I think this entire battle group gets them as armor piercing high explosive. I don't think though. I don't think that though, but I guess I'll just go with that. But yeah, that means if you're firing a high explosive shell which also penetrates their armor. Even if it doesn't quite penetrate their armor, if the shells have a high explosive value, and if they have a similar armor piercing value to that of the enemy's armor, so for example this has 4 armor piercing value and 5 armor at the front, that means even if it might not penetrate the armor, it is a big enough shell to at least dent the armor at the front and shock the crew even more. I should have probably mentioned this earlier, but there's a mechanic in this game which basically means that if a unit comes under heavy fire, eventually the squad that you're controlling, those group of guys, they will start to panic, and if their panic meter goes, if the bar fills up fully and it becomes fully red, they will basically get pinned down, and that means they can't take any orders. They just sort of sit there and wait for their inevitable death, and they sort of just lie down on the floor and just cry until they die. Either that, or you can order them to fall back, which takes about 30 seconds, and they just sort of retreat basically enough to the point where they can't get shot at, and they have no line of sight to any enemy units. But that takes about 30 seconds, and they will retreat for 30 seconds, which is not a very good thing, but I mean, at least they won't die. Tanks do this automatically, so they won't get pinned down. And this is why high explosive shells are really good. The more panicked an enemy squad or tank is, the worse their accuracy and the longer their reload time will be. Which means if you're fighting an enemy tank and you have 4 of these, the shitty little Panzer 35 RFs, and they all have high explosive value of 1, and they're all just shelling the enemy tank, the crew in that tank will start to panic. And that means eventually when their panic bar or panic meter fills up, and they panic a lot, they'll stop firing entirely and will just reverse. They'll just reverse out the way. And then you can advance your tanks, shoot them in the side, and their tank goes kaboom. That's pretty good. Which is actually, that's probably the only reason why these things are good. This also works with infantry. If they're suppressed, they won't fire back, and if they're falling back, they won't fire back. Which means this is great for advancing. Pushing the front. Also, there are munition trucks. Yeah, you probably saw it when I showed you. Oh, it only has 15 rounds here, or these heavy batteries, artillery batteries, only have 45 rounds. They are off-map units. You can't reload them with this, unfortunately. I know it sucks, but you can't just take a supply truck and just drop it right next to this 210mm heavy artillery battery. You can't just do that, unfortunately. Also, if you put a munitions truck for some reason next to a tank which has its engine damaged or something, or its wheels or tracks blown off, or a gun destroyed, then it will repair it, which is great. Also, it'll resupply infantry and stuff. It is really good. There is artillery here which I could take, but I'm not going to take it. Maybe you might have noticed there's a little marker here, which basically means that that unit can, indirect fire. That basically means they don't need a line of sight to hit the enemy. This artillery gun, which I'm previewing right here, right now, does need a line of sight, which is why I despise this thing. It is completely useless. It has less range than most tanks. It fires a 75mm artillery gun, which is awful. Has basically, 10-second reload time. Still, bad stealth. Optics are normal, not high or anything. And its accuracy is 4, and its high explosive damage is only 9. The only good thing about this is it has 50 shells. That is it. That, and it's a howitzer. Better than nothing. I wouldn't say so, because you can only have 40 actual units. But if you notice the green numbers, That's how many of those I can deploy in the battlefield. So for example, in phase A, these guys, I can deploy 10 of these squads, which is really good. 10 of these guys, 10 squads of this, and they only cost 10. That means with the, with 100, if I have 100 requisition points, I can get all 10 of these guys deployed in phase B. Oh wow, okay, I just realized that they're in phase B. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. They're in phase B. I thought that was phase A. Oh man, I'm so dumb. And I just realized I haven't spent the last 2 squads, slots. So I'll probably get some more. Actually, pioneers aren't too bad. I'll take a couple of those. I think I'll try out some Stern Pioneers because, why not? So, support. Yeah, we've got munitions. We've got the ammo and supplies. Tanks, terrible. Infantry, lots and lots of infantry. Reconnaissance, decent. Air Force, good ground support. We got something which can destroy tanks and something which can bomb infantry and stuff. Artillery, lots. Anti-air. Now, I mean, a 20mm, a truck with a 20mm autocannon is decent, but lacks range. And then there's these things. Oh, quad 20mm, each with 800 rounds, each of those guns. Yeah, I think I'm taking that. 37, much better range, 200 whole meters and more AoE, area of effect. And I think, yeah, more. Oh, it doesn't do quite as much high explosive value, but that's okay because it has better range. And I think, yeah, slower rate of fire, which is fine. That'll do. But yeah, decent. And then, oh, I love this thing, the Flak 88, the Flak 41 88mm. This thing is amazing, no doubt. I would much rather use this thing as an AT gun than an AA gun, purely because its high explosive value is 5, which is terrible, by the way, for an AA gun. I mean, this thing has a high explosive value. 20mm autocannons have a high explosive value of 12. And this 88 has a high explosive value of 5. The advantage of this, though, is that it has an armor piercing value of 15. Holy shit. And an accuracy of 7. This is basically a Tiger tank without the tank bit. That would just mean Tiger. This is not a Tiger. This has the gun of a Tiger without the armor. That is basically what this is. Unfortunately, the Tiger tank can't shoot at air, which is disappointing, but but yeah, this thing is decent. I get 2 of them, yeah, and they're deployed by this very, very heavy truck, half track. Yeah, lots of ammo, decent. 45 high explosive, 18 armor piercing. Oh wow, I just realized how retarded I am. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. The ammunition was right there. Wait, no. Hold on. Because this says 24 and 24. Does this mean it has 24 armor piercing, 24 high explosive, or does that mean they share the ammo? I don't know, I'm just, oh god. I'm so dumb. Anyway, and then there's this thing. I mean, if you look at the stats, this is better, this 37mm on a half track. But the mobile wagon just, it seems to have better stats for whatever reason. Also more ammo, which is a lot better. Unfortunately, it is at phase C though, and it does look ugly as fuck. Which isn't a good thing, at least in my opinion. But hey, that's just me, right? Yeah, I think I'm gonna take this. Do I want to fill up the last 2 spots? I'll take another flak Veerling, right? I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't German. Some of you people who speak German out there, tell me how to pronounce that. Alright. Support, we got that covered. We got everything covered except for anti-tank. Oh boy. Alright, so, yeah. A phase, we need Panzerschrecks. We need 5cm AT guns. Yeah, 75mm AT guns will do. God, that is going to be useful, but extremely vulnerable, because this is an 88, but it's an AT gun, not a tank, which means it's going to be able to, you know, you can just walk up to it with a rifle or something and kill all these guys here, because nobody here has any actual weapons. I just realized, though, I could use these guys to protect the AT gun. Genius. Alright, phase C. Yeah, there's no point in this. I think phase B would just be better, and I can just take 2 Jagd Panthers for phase C. Does have very bad stealth though, which isn't a good thing. But I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna have 2 88, mil guns, 2 88 AT guns at phase C in a tank. And, I mean, it's going to be kind of useless, taking this. Sure, it's at phase C, and they are stealthy and stuff. Medium stealth and normal optics, but, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be lagging behind in the recon race. Actually, I probably am. I only have a couple of reconnaissance guys, and they're all probably going to die in probably by the B phase. So, yeah. Not as good as I was hoping for it to be, but we'll get through this. All right. I have 2 spots, two more things I can add to my battle group, and I think I'm gonna add this massive mortar, because why not? It's a massive mortar. Yeah, I don't think I need anything. Tanks, I guess I could add these guys, and that's it. And yeah, that's the battle group. Yeah. That would be a pretty good ideal first battle group. Also, yeah, you got the whole boot camp thing, so I don't think, unless you absolutely hate doing tutorials, just search through the game tips, play a game against AIs. By the way, if you are versing AIs, don't try to verse the medium AIs if it's your first game. It may say very easy, but believe me, they are a lot better than you think they are. Just because it says very easy doesn't mean it's gonna be an easy AI to verse. But either way, I will continue with this. If you guys want, tell me your opinions about this in the comments below, and I might do first battle in Steel Division Normandy 44. If you guys want. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.